The official state commemoration of the Rising took place last March on Easter Sunday. And since I was not invited to the event, I planned instead to spend the day with my grandchildren. However, a few days before Easter Sunday, I received a call from the BBC in London asking me if I would be available to speak with them on their World Service in front of the GPO on Easter Sunday. After I accepted the invitation, they inquired, "Do you have accreditation?" When I said no, they replied, "Don't worry, we'll get it for you." The next day they called to say that I would be able to collect it at the Media Centre in the Department of Education in Marlborough Street on Easter Sunday morning, and cautioned me to bring my passport with me. Since I live in Dublin's inner city and normally move about quite freely, this particular advice puzzled me. However, when on Easter Sunday morning I walked the short distance from my house to O'Connell Street, everything became clear. An impenetrable exclusion zone had been created around O'Connell Street, which meant I had to make a circuitous journey to Marlborough Street and then produce my passport to gain entrance to the Department of Education. On receiving my accreditation, I then made my way under police escort to O'Connell Street and took my place with the BBC on the media viewing stand opposite the GPO. The interview began with the BBC journalist asking me how I felt about what was planned for the day. I replied by saying that I felt slightly uncomfortable and went on to quote the eminent British historian Bernard Lewis to explain myself. He wrote that those in power always strive to control the presentation of the past, to make sure that the version of the past that is presented buttresses and legitimates their own authority. Consequently, I said that the purely military ceremony, where the people of Ireland had no part to play other than as spectators, had little to do with commemorating or celebrating the vision of the men of 1916 and everything to do with providing a photo opportunity for the leaders of the state to clap themselves on the back. I have to concede that official Ireland did not agree with my interpretation of events. The media was stuffed with reports expressing bogus sentiments of national pride about how well the whole thing went off. A leading journalist wrote a glowing article in the Irish Times declaring how the people of Ireland had reclaimed the streets of Dublin. Well, of course, she was wrong on two counts. It was the army that reclaimed the streets, not the people. And the citizens of Ireland were quite deliberately excluded from O'Connell Street, which became a barren desert occupied only by the elite and the media. In my opinion, exclusion was the order of the day, and perhaps, ironically, that exclusion mirrors the true nature of Irish society today. The exclusion felt by the unacceptable numbers of of people who are homeless in our society. The exclusion experienced by our old people on trolleys waiting for treatment in our hospitals as a result of a two-tier health system that is unfit for purpose. The exclusion and despair behind the highest suicide rates in Europe. The exclusion that condemns so many of our children to lives of poverty. 1 child in 6. The hundreds of thousands who have been excluded from our society by being forced by economic circumstances to flee the country of their birth, and the exclusion experienced by the majority of our people forced to live on an island where the country and the people remain divided. I think of Luke Kelly at this moment and his song, "Was it for this that the sons and daughters of Roisin sacrificed so much?" I think not. I believe that this year, the centenary of the Rising, provides us, the citizens of Ireland, with a unique opportunity to reclaim the vision of 1916. Let all of us together work towards the realisation of their dream and build a true republic that serves the needs of all its citizens, a society of equality with no citizen left behind. As Tommy McCartney, the chairperson of the committee that led the refurbishment of this wonderful monument, observed, he said, "This sculpture is handsome and grand, but let us never forget the most appropriate monument that can be built to honour the fallen heroes would be the establishment of an Irish Republic for which they gave their lives. Eraigling a céile, go raibh míle maith agaibh go léir."